You are not going to believe what just came out of one man's mouth after the biggest wedding of the decade. Because while Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce did everything humanly possible to keep their wedding a secret, NDAs signed at the door, phones confiscated, a literal 180-foot tent built around Madison Square Garden so no one on the street could catch a glimpse. There was one guest who just couldn't stay quiet. And honestly, we are so glad he didn't. That guest is Greg James. If you don't know him, he's one of the biggest names in British radio, the host of BBC Radio 1's Breakfast Show. And for years, he's had this genuinely sweet, funny friendship with Taylor Swift that goes all the way back to when he was driving her around London in what he called his dodgy hatchback. Just talking, just laughing. Two people who actually got each other's sense of humor. That's rare. That's real. And here's where it gets interesting. Almost a year ago, during an interview promoting the life of a showgirl, Greg jokingly told Taylor that he wanted Travis Kelce to pick him up and throw him into a swimming pool. Just a joke. A bit. The kind of thing you say on air because it's funny and you know it'll get a laugh. But Taylor didn't just laugh it off. She looked at him and said, "The way that he's going to do that as soon as he sees you at our wedding. That's going to happen." And when Greg, half joking, half hopeful, asked if that meant he'd actually get invited, she just said, "Obviously." Now think about that for a second. That's not a scripted publicity moment. That's two friends teasing each other. And somewhere in that teasing, a promise got made. A promise that, incredibly, she kept. Because on July 3rd, in front of around 1,000 guests, behind blacked-out windows and closed doors, Taylor Swift married Travis Kelce inside Madison Square Garden. And somewhere in that crowd, nervous, thrilled, probably still processing that this was actually happening, was Greg James. He didn't tell anyone beforehand. He kept it a secret right up until after the ceremony, missing his own breakfast show the next morning because, in his words, he was dealing with the world's greatest hangover. Can you imagine that text to his producers? "Can't come in today. Was at Taylor Swift's wedding. Currently dying." He posted afterward that it had been an unbelievably brilliant night, and that Taylor had kept her word. She actually invited him. After everything. After a joke about a swimming pool a year earlier, she remembered, and she followed through. But here's the part everyone's been asking about. The part that's been spreading everywhere since. Did Travis actually do it? Did he actually grab Greg and throw him in a pool the moment he saw him? Exactly like Taylor promised? No, he didn't. Let's be clear about that. Because the story that keeps circulating is the joke itself, not an actual wrestling match at Madison Square Garden. There was no pool, there was no takedown, there was no dramatic Travis Kelce body slam moment caught on someone's smuggled phone. What actually happened was something quieter, and honestly, something sweeter. A promise between friends that turned into an invitation. A joke that turned into one of the most talked about guest reveals of the entire wedding. And that's kind of the magic of this whole story, isn't it? Because everyone expected the leaks to be about the flowers, or the vows, or Paul McCartney supposedly picking up a guitar at the reception. And they were. But the moment that actually broke people's hearts a little, in the best way, was this. A superstar who didn't forget a joke. A friend who kept a promise nobody would have blamed her for forgetting. And a radio host who got to fly across the world, in total secrecy, to stand there and watch his friend get married. That's real friendship. That's real emotion, hiding inside all the glitz and the designer dresses and the 1,000-person guest list. Underneath all of it, this was still just two people who found their person, surrounded by the people who love them the most. And if a story like this made you feel something, even just a little bit, that's exactly why we do this here. We dig past the headlines to find the moments that actually matter, the human parts of these massive celebrity stories that everyone else skips over. So if you want more of this, more of the real story behind the biggest moments in music and pop culture right now, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you never miss the next one, and let me know down in the comments. Do you think Travis still owes Greg that pool moment one day? Because if I were Taylor Swift, I'd make sure it happens eventually. She did keep her word once already.